You can. Hallelujah. All right, and I forgot the beginning of Zentangle. See, I've been working up to the bitter end, and so I forgot the beginning. So let's just take a minute. Can somebody help me, though? Do we know who MJ is?
Is it Margaret Jackson?
No, baby, I got you. A30, you're all set. This is MJ is connecting to audio. So I'm wondering if it's someone new who's having a hard time connecting, or, but I guess we'll just have to.
Jones.
Or what, honey?
It's not Mike Jones or Myra Jones.
No, I can see your faces, so I knew it wasn't you guys.
Okay.
We'll just play it by ear. I just figured I'd ask. Okay, let's just take 2 minutes and or however many minutes you need, and let's just take a couple of deep breaths, because as you can tell, I need a couple deep breaths, so that's a good thing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. I happen to believe that one of the most important things we need to do before we start Zentangle is to quiet our minds as much as the things we do to loosen our body. So maybe we can just take a minute and go to Haunani's backdrop. Where we're just kind of sitting on the beach and our feet are in the sand and we can feel the warm sun on us and we're feeling happy, relaxed, and grateful. We go to that place when we choose to go there, even when we're not at the beach. And I would like to share that I feel grateful that I keep learning. It's my energy. Okay, and let's slowly open our eyes and get ready to learn some stuff. Okay. I'm going to show you a bunch of things. If I go too fast, just tell me to stop or pause or whatever you need me to do, okay? I want to start with just some what I call housekeeping stuff. So this is our website, obviously. Sorry, I clicked and it made it go funny. You can see that. I don't know if all of you had the chance to read the newsletter email that I sent yesterday, late in the day.
Yeah.
So I just want to bring it up again because I know some of you may not have had a chance to see it because I know I sent it late. So everybody has issues. Different people have different issues with videos and with getting my emails. And so what I've been trying to do is to set up the website so that it's a regular depository, if you will, repository, a place where information is always available to you. And the reason I do that is because it makes my life easier, because I don't have to worry about whether or not you're getting stuff or can find things or the videos work. So in terms of the videos, as I told you in my email, I've now chosen our video hosting site as YouTube, which I think will solve some of the play issues you've been having. It's not going to resolve internet related issues to your internet, but it should.
Frozen.
Am I frozen?
You were frozen.
Not now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't clicked anything. I'm just showing. So if you still have trouble when you're playing on our website, which is what this is, right? You can easily click here and it'll flip you immediately to YouTube. Okay, where you're going to be watching the video on YouTube. And if you still have trouble, right here is this settings wheel. And right here is quality. And you can change that quality. It's not going to make it unviewable, but it makes it smaller, less frame rate is what they call it. So if you're having any issues getting videos to play, this gives you another option. Okay, so it's me just trying to give you as many choices as I can. Does that make some sense at all?
Yes.
Where was that first one? Could you show again? I'm writing
I'm
it down.
Yes,
Yeah,
babe,
the
I'm
first
happy to.
place. Oh, I
This
see YouTube there.
this is our website, and the
Mhm.
videos will now have this here.
Okay, YouTube. Yeah.
And what that means is it's going to the YouTube. No, I don't want to listen to you. The YouTube channel that I have, okay? And that isn't anything special or brilliant. It just means that it's a place I can put videos and give people access. Our videos are all on private, which means you only get access with the link. So people can't go out and search them at this point. At least I think that's what I did, but I'd have to go back and look. But anyway, all of them will be there, and it's just a channel that I use. It's just the same as I used to use with our other hosting site. It's just that YouTube gives you more flexibility. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
I can't, I can't get rid of the background.
I'm sorry, Gwen. What is that, Gwen?
Yeah, it's me, and I can't get rid of, there you are. Okay. I couldn't get rid of the background from where I signed on, but it's okay now.
Okay, it's not the background, it's me showing my screen.
Oh, okay.
I'm showing my screen.
I see you now. Okay.
Okay, so this is my screen. Are you there?
Nope. Now I'm back at Tangled Tales where I sign on.
No, Gwen,
Yeah.
I'm showing you Tangled Tales.
Okay. All right.
I'm showing you Tangled Tales on my computer
Okay.
so that I can show you what I've done differently on the website.
Okay.
So I showed the different video section, which is
Right.
what I just was showing you all.
Right.
And now I want to show you a new page I've put together called newsletters. And this really matters, and why I wanted you to be able to
Aha.
know where I am.
I see
because-
you. I see the
because several-
newsletters. Yeah.
Yep, because several of you have had issues getting my emails. I now have a different email tool that I'm using. I'm finally getting used to it. It's free, which is the best part. And if you click a date, it takes you directly to the email that I sent via email. So I'm going to send it to you, but if you never hear from me again, that means you're not getting them for some reason related to the spam filter on your email. So all you have to do is go to the website, go to newsletters, and all the dates will be right here. So my goal is to make it as easy as possible for you to access all information, and to make it as easy as possible for me, admittedly. Okay?
Mhm.
I'm sorry?
For all your hard work. This is not insignificant work and time on your part.
That's right. Yeah, thank you.
Well, the front end, I would agree with you. My hope is that what it will do is decrease the stuff on the back end. You know what I'm saying? So that we don't have problems that I'm constantly trying to solve, because we found solutions that are just there for you always.
Got it.
So that's kind of where I'm headed here. All right. The resource page we've already talked about, because that's just where I put things that we talk about during class. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I want to, what do I want to do? I want to change to this. Okay. Oh, there it is. That's what I did last. You can't see it well unless I tip it. This was my class yesterday.
Wow.
Wow.
I know, but it really isn't a big deal. It looks so amazing, but it's actually quite straightforward. It's not. Come on, baby. Focus in here.
Wow.
Let's do it this way. There.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh,
good.
yeah.
That's good. Yep.
Nice.
So it's just sand swirl, which is like fescue with the auras around it. See, there's the little sand swirls. And then you just put little curved lines everywhere. It was one of those tiles that's repetitive. You get into the zen of it. It's just, but you can see how it changed when we started shading, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
now it looks kind of three-dimensional-ish. Yeah,
looks
that's not
like
a
a
word.
cabbage, a big cabbage.
Big cabbage. Okay, I'll take that. It does. I agree. But I share what I learn with you all because I think it's one of the ways that I can give you some sense of growth in terms of Zentangle and how you use it in ways that might also speak to you. So that's why I do that. So in the newsletter that I sent you, I talked about the Geneviève's Mandela stencils, right?
Yep.
So please let me know. The woman from Acadia Laser Creations, and let me just show you that for a second. So I finally hunted her down. So Acadia Laser Creations has a store on Etsy, and Geneviève Crabe is the one who created this stencil, and Acadia Laser Creations makes the stencil. You know, they burn the stencil, if you will. And she doesn't have any available at the moment, but she can make them anytime we want. So I said I would gather information from all of you to see if you're interested. Do you guys remember what this is, right?
Yes,
The dots.
Yes.
Yeah, with the dots.
With the dots, like I'm not in the right place now, but like the dots.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's 3 different versions. So anyway, it's not cheap, but they do make them when we order them. So I told her I would collect your requests and tell her how many. And then if you would also include, just let me know what you want. And then we can make a decision whether we do 2 mailings, one to Heritage Village and one to me, or if we have each of you get them individually. You follow me? It's $5 for shipping.
Ooh.
So it's not a big, huge cost. So we can do it whatever way's easiest.
I'm definitely interested in one.
Okay, cool beans.
Yes, I am too.
Yes, me too.
Me too.
Okay.
Peggy,
And I already ordered the Reticula and book, the new book that you talked about.
So I have Gwen. It's easier to just take your names. This is crazy. And Anne
Yep.
and
Mimi.
Mimi. Thank you.
Mary V.
Mary V.
Peggy, are you going to be using are you and Hanani going to be using them in instruction to us?
We can certainly do that, Margaret, if it's helpful. But basically, all it does is it gives you a tool to draw circles and other templates that interest you. So it's really your call.
Okay.
They are
not-
not required to
Okay.
do anything we do in this class.
Okay.
It's mainly, what can I say? I'm going to say this in a nice way. It's kind of a crutch, but sometimes it's a nice crutch. So that's all I'm going to say.
Peggy, have you done a class using the stencils? Because
I have not, but I certainly could if people would like it. One of the things I did was my mandala class. Do you remember when we did the mandalas and we had to figure out a way to trace the pattern and all that foolishness? And part of what the stencils do is they give you the ability to draw that pattern kind of the more symmetrically, there's the word I want, without having to screw around with tracing and all that. That's all. There's no magic here. That's not a fair way of saying it, but that gives you the scoop. So Linda, are you in or out? You want to wait?
let me think about
Think about
that.
it.
I'll
about
let
it.
you know by the end of the week.
That's fine, babe. Gwen, Ann, Mimi, and Mary V is who I have at the moment.
I put Marie on there.
Oh, and Marie. Sorry, Marie. Okay. Do I have, and if it changes and you want to change your mind one way or the other, just email me.
And get one for Susan Schlusser.
No,
Yes,
No.
Susan, yes.
no,
Okay.
no, it's not my birthday.
Well, no, but it's my birthday and I'm being generous, so there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We love it.
You get that, Peggy?
I got it.
Okay, good.
Peggy, you already have my name, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, Susan. I forgot to mention you when I was reading my list. Yes, I already have your name.
I just want to tell you, Peggy, after
Yes, ma'am.
reading your email for the third time this morning, I ordered Zentangle reticula and fragments from Amazon.
So let me just show everybody that. So there is, oh, come on, Peggy. Zentangle has several books. Okay, so there's a primer, which I'm going to use today because I don't have reticula and fragments, although I'm ordering it. So I understand, Gwen. And then they have kind of a general, but the primer and reticula and fragments are the two kind of books that are useful if you get into that. And I'll show you what that means as we go along. Okay.
Yep.
So that's one of the things that's included in the resources section. Okay. All right. I want to switch. Okay. So we got the website. Let's get out of that, Peggy. Quit that. All right. I want to switch gears a minute and I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing today. So in the primer,
Oh,
the
that.
Zentangle primer, which is the book that I just showed you. Okay, and it's on, the link is on the resources page in the email, every place I could think to put it. I want to talk about what the heck a reticula, what reticulas are. All right, because it sounds really impressive, doesn't it? It sounds like something amazingly wonderful, and really it's only Latin. And I had to take Latin when I was in high school, so I was
4
required.
years.
So
They
did
don't-
I.
They don't do that anymore, but I was required to take Latin, which my father thought was wonderful. I detested it. Miss Tobin was a terrible teacher, freaked and intimidated me regularly. Reticula, the Latin, the singular is reticulum. All right. And the translation directly is little net, where you're catching something in a little net. What they talk about in Zentangle is a network of spaces, if you will. Now, I have always believed that it's like a place. It's just like a space. So a reticulum, which is the singular, is just a little net. It's just a little space that you're going to put something in. Reticula is more than one. That's the whole kettle of fish, right? So if you think back, now I'm going to switch gears. I think I can keep up with this. We'll see. I really questioned whether I should teach this class. I went, really, Peggy? Do you really want to do this? So let me show you some of the links that I have on the resource page. So, no, let me do it this way. So if you're thinking about a reticula or a reticulum, what you're really thinking about is a grid, right? So this would be a reticulum.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry, it's hard with the light in this time of year, so I always have trouble with pencil. All right, so that's in essence a reticula. It's a grid where you have little nets, little spaces that you're going to put shtick in, right?
Yeah.
So this can even be a reticulum.
Okay.
Okay. This, let me see if I've got my sample. I've thrown so many away because I didn't like the way I did them. Does that sound familiar to you guys?
Yeah.
So this is a fragment. All right. But just the squares is a reticulum. So it's just about where you're going to put them. Now, this sounds, in some respects, I think this sounds like much ado about nothing, right? It's like somebody needed to make up a bunch of words so that they sounded impressive. All they're trying to do is to talk about the fact that you have amazing options in Zentangle when you think about looking for reticulum, looking for places to put tangles, right? So they got into that. And then they said, well, wait a minute, let's think about what you're going to put in those spaces. So they created fragments. So what they said in this book is they said, we enjoy watching, so the interplay of grids, okay? Remember last week when I showed you Nayu in a grid format? And I said 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, and I said, you see how it forms meta patterns. It forms patterns when you put two different tangles next to each other, right? I know I'm boring you, I can tell. So these are fragments. So what you do is you think about putting these fragments into these reticulum. Oh, hallelujah, the sun went behind clouds.
So
It's gonna,
it's kind of like a quilt.
it is indeed, it
Yeah.
is indeed. That's a good analogy. That's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
So I get that they've in essence taken something that seems mundane and they've attached a bunch of words to it and processes. But what's fascinating is it opens up a whole nother level of what you can do with Zentangle that I really didn't appreciate until I started playing around with it. All right. So these are square, right? Fragments. So this is their fragments and they have names that are related to the grid. So it's A1, A5, B5, BC3. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how the fragments get their names. So then they went, well, wait a minute, not all fragments should be square. So they said, what if fragments were triangles? And Tripoli is a tangle we have not done, at least not recently, that is often used in Zentangle, and it's all triangles. So they call these the Tripoli fragments because they're triangles. But then they said, well, wait a minute, what about circles? Now, if you look really closely at fragments, you can see that sometimes they look like parts of tangles. Like, where's the Muka one? Like, here's Muka's, right?
Yeah.
And here's just Rick Muka's or Maria Muka's at the beginning. There's a poke leaf somewhere that I've seen. Here's a flux, right?
Right.
So sometimes they take part of a tangle and turn it into a fragment that you can then use in a reticulum, in a grid, in a circle, which is what we're going to do today. Okay. But when you put a bunch of fragments together, you got lots of choices about how you put them together, right? So here's fragments. All right. Now, this is the book that is the primer book, but they also have, as Gwen was talking about, they also have the book that is Fragments and Reticula. And it gives you lots more stuff about what you can do. So I'm thinking I may order that as well, Gwen. So there you go. We may be fragmenting.
So easy on Amazon.
fragmenting ourselves to death, right? Okay.
Peggy, what was
Yes, ma'am.
the first name, the first book, Fragments in Reticula, and what was the first one you
It's
just
just
named?
the Zentangle primer.
Zentangle Primer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the book they started this whole bloody thing with, and they update it periodically.
Okay.
It's not a bad book to have. It really is. I frequently don't push books. I try not to push books, but this particular book is helpful, particularly if you're early on in your Zentangle journey. So I would say that much. That's $20, I think. Well, it's $20 on Zentangle. I think it's the same on Amazon, but
Yeah, it is.
24. Yeah.
it was 24 on Amazon?
And I'm looking at it right now.
But I've got Prime, so the mailing's free, but it's not free on Zentangle.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
That is one of the issues. I will admit. But anyway, all that being said, so I've also given you here, okay, some resources to find tangles online. So you don't, or fragments online. You don't have to buy the book. That's what I'm trying to say. So here is, it's a German CZT, so please don't ask me to pronounce Musterquelle because I don't know how to. But it is the most amazing website. Everybody, all CCTs talk about this website because these folks have accumulated bunches of stuff. As you can see, we're in German here. They're giving you examples of reticula and fragments, okay? So they're showing you, this is Q3, which is a fragment, and they're showing you all the different ways that you can put those fragments into a grid of reticula and decide what they're going to look like. Okay, we're going to talk about all that. But then, blessedly, they also show you all the reticula. So here's all the different grids people use, blah, 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 all the ways you can make little nets, right? And then they show you the fragments. Now, this is the part I wanted you to know. Let me go back to their first page, because right down here, all the way at the bottom, here's what's in the book, right? You remember the pages I showed you?
Yeah.
This is the square ones, this is the triangle ones, this is the round ones. But here's the beauty of these folks. They're very smart. If I click F1, it takes me to F1. So I can say, wow, this is kind of cool. I really like this one. And I can click on it and it's going to show me exactly how it's drawn. They don't do step outs for fragments because they're pretty straightforward. All right, for the most part. But here you can kind of see how the structure is and then still get to the detail of the fragment itself. All right, you want to, is this making sense? You have questions, issues, blah, blah, blah. That makes sense. Okay. I also have given you a couple of other links. Margaret Bremer is somebody we've looked at before, and I really do like her. She talks about, these are reticulas. So she's showing you some different ways you can draw grids. Do you see how she's drawn a curvy grid?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a curvy grid. There's nothing magic here, guys. It's just the grid curves. And then she's just chosen the particular fragments she's going to use. Now here, she's just used a tangle. And she's just used floors, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here, she's just used, this is a particular reticula. So she's just put them in there based on the, I'm sorry, this is a particular fragment, got to watch my language, and she's just put them in there based on the reticula that she's drawn. That's it. So she shows you, you know, some different ways that you can make grids and then use fragments all over the place, all different. And create the most fun and most amazing, crazy, what am I trying to say? Non-representational designs. All right, so I've given you both of these. Here she talks about tangles that are great reticula. So you can use Beck, which is a tangle, right? And you can turn it into a space where you're putting other fragments. So you could just put fragments in here, which is what she does.
This is mind blowing.
Is it bad? Is it
No.
bad?
Oh,
No.
it's
Oh,
good.
it's wonderful.
You've
I'm-
been doing this for, I mean, we've been doing this to some extent.
Yes, we have. Yes, we
Yes.
have, Margaret. Yes, we have.
Um,
And I want to just grab my Megan. Can you give me 2 seconds here? I was going to get this out before I started and I forgot. I'm trying to organize my tiles from classes because otherwise they're just in boxes and I can't find shit. You know how that goes. So if you look, this is basically a reticula, right? I drew a grid. And instead of a fragment, I chose to use a full tangle.
Right.
But what it did is created what's called meta patterns. So you see this circular kind of thing and this circular kind, but I did them exactly the same square to square,
Okay.
right? I never changed anything. And in fact, because this is a square symmetrical tangle, I can't change it and have a different outcome, right? No matter how I draw the grid. The only thing I could do is to make my grid curvy.
Mm-hmm.
And then my outcome could be different. Fair enough?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, that's the bad one. I don't want that one. All right, so one last thing, and then we're going to draw. Okay. You can see I had to tape something over this because I screwed up. This is called, oh heck, Haunani, what is it? It's wacky tape. Wacky tape. It's great. Washi tape. Washi. Thank you. W-A-S-H-I.
Yeah.
Washi tape. Easy peasy, comes right off. Anyway, and when you get your templates, it's a way you can hold your template steady also because it just comes right off. So what I want to show you is, this is fragment F2. Okay, right here, fragment F2, right at the top. Let me hide these. Okay.
Yeah.
So I did fragment F2 right next to each other, exactly the same. And if I did a whole grid of them, that would be interesting, right? And in fact, they give you a little sample of that. There they are, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. But then what if I rotate that fragment? So now I have the same fragment. Here it's one way, here it's the other. I just rotated it. Right?
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yep.
But then what if I rotate in mirror?
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. But you see how it changes. So here is rotated and mirrored.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see how I've got the start of that, right? If I did 2 more down here, I ran out of time, guys. I told you I was working until the bitter end. If I do 2 more, I'm going to get that pattern that they show you here. But it's the same fragment. The fragment is the fragment. Turn it on its head, turn it upside down, turn it around, do whatever you want. So then this one was a bit of a trick for me. Now I am very spatially challenged. Just going to admit it. I scored very poorly on my spatial relationships in my SAT. Just saying. I really was bad, which is why I'm not an engineer and Haunani is. We're real clear, right, Haunani? This is the fragment C1. This is not an easy fragment to draw next to each other. I'm just going to tell you, I lost my way several times. But when you succeed, look at how it changes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I really had to pay attention that the inside lines are going to the corners in the center because I would invariably do them the other way because I turn everything around. It's why I always have to have a GPS in my car. So, because I never know what direction I'm going. But it was just an example to me of how when you put them together, even, and I can turn this any way I want to. It's not basically going to change the meta pattern, right? It's kind of always going to be that type of thing because the fragment is the same on all sides, all four corners. Does that make any sense to you at all?
Yes.
Okay, your eyes are glazing over. So here's what we're going to do. I'm all done talking and my examples and all of that stuff. So let me just stop a minute and ask if anyone has any questions. Because what I want you to do is find yourself a pencil. You can use a Zendala if you have one. You can use a square one and put a circle in the middle of it if you want. You can use another piece of paper and make a circle. I'm going to work on a circle because I think it's a fun way of using fragments, and then you feel like you're creating this same thing I created when I did my class yesterday. You know, you're creating circles with fragments. So that's what I'm going to do. You are free to use the square fragment, you know, create a reticula on a square tile if that is your preference. So either way is fine. You're doing the same thing. All right.
Mhm.
So you want to protest this class or are we okay?
We're good.
I debated this class a lot because I am not, because I'm spatially challenged. So, and just so you know, I'm creating mine the same time you're creating yours. So I may screw up. We'll see. We will see how it goes, all of us together. Okay, so I wanted 6 sections, all right, in my reticula. See, and now the sun is bugging me again. Let me see if I can help. No, I'm gonna, up. Okay, you see it?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so what I did first is I kind of estimated, just eyeballed, as we call it, the center.
Mhm.
And then I just drew the first line right down the center.
Okay.
And that's how I started. All right. And then I turned that line on its side so that I have the line going this way, right? And then I kind of estimated dividing that section into 3 pieces. It's eyeballing. I did not measure. I didn't use my grid template. I didn't do any of that. I just eyeballed these 2 spots. And then I turned it around and I eyeballed these 2 spots.
Okay.
And then I connected them. That's all I did. Nothing any fancier than that. So that in the end, I have 6 triangles at the moment. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now what I'm going to do, and I may have to just be brave and do it with my pen, Lord help me, so that you can see it. But I'm going to connect my triangles into a circle, and I'm going to start at the top circle.
Okay.
You see kind of what I'm doing? Let me go back to the 8. Oh, that was the 8. That's terrible. Okay, can you kind of see what I'm at here?
Yeah.
So all I'm doing is kind of connecting those, staying approximately the same distance from the edge, making that outside circle. It's going to go wonky. It's not going to be perfect, Nature of the beast. Okay, and there's my outside circle. Boy, I don't have any idea what's going on with this light in this room. Okay,
Oh, good.
what's the matter? Okay, perfect.
Man,
So what I did next, this is just me, is I went to my small circle because it was my way of being able to space. So what you're going to end up with is you're going to go with a very small circle in the center, and then you're going to want a circle in between the two. Is that making sense? So in the end, you're going to have 3 separate circles on this tile. So I'm going to start with my smaller one. And again, I like the triangles because it's easier for me to connect the triangles into a circle than to try to freehand draw a circle. And even then, it's not perfect, as you can see.
Hello, please.
All right, so you can see I've screwed up, quote unquote, because my circle isn't exactly where I want it. I would really prefer it to be out here,
It's blind, but my face is only blind.
but it's going to be okay because it's all going to work out in the end. All right?
Oh,
Okay.
tried to close it.
So now what I do is I use my lines
I'm miserable.
to estimate the distance in between the 2 circles. So I put a dot here. I put a dot here. Is this making sense to everybody?
Yep.
Dot here. I put a dot here. And I put a dot here. Now you can see already that my
Being out here is horrible.
shapes are not perfect, right? But I'm going with it. So I'm now going to connect those dots for my inner circle. As long as I can keep my curves decent. And by the time you fill in all your fragments, nobody's going to care. Nope, that's worse. Maybe I'll try to put that all the way down. Let's see if that helps. Oh, that helps a little. Okay. All right, is everybody okay?
Yes. Most.
All right, now you know these lovely lines you've drawn, right?
Mhm.
Well, now you want to ink them in because you're going to divide these circles into those segments. Now I'm going to make just a little adjustment here. So my center circle's a little better balanced. So you see, I didn't like the fact that my center circle was kind of off. So all I did was take those lines and just adjust them a smidge. And now my center circle's a lot more balanced. See how you can cheat? So the first thing I need to do is what? I need to find myself a triangle tangle, right? Or fragment, right? Because that's what I need in here. So I'm going to go to my triangles. I gotta look. They're not real huge.
Peggy, how do you decide? I'm sorry, I'm missing something. How you decide which form to select?
What do you mean by form, babe? Shape?
The shape, yes. Shape.
Because that's what I have in my center circle.
Oh, duh. Okay.
That's
Got it.
okay. It's all right. The rest of these will all be squares, by the way. But the center circle, we're doing triangles because that's where all those lines come together. And so
Yeah.
that's where I've got triangles. And I'm going to go with something relatively simple in order to get us to a place where we can do the other, what do I want to say? To make sure we can finish. So I think I'm going to pick K1. Do you see it right here?
Uh-huh.
So in essence, I ink in each corner and then connect them in the center, right? Now, the one thing I know I need to do is I need to get rid of my pencil lines. So give me a minute here. I'm just gonna, because you can't see them as much as I can see them, but they're a distraction to me. Okay. And I'm going to go to an 01 because I want to be a little more. So what I usually do is I usually keep my picture of my fragment. See if I can make this happen in this space. The picture of the fragment, which is the K1, right?
Mhm.
Just kind of in view. So I can kind of see what I'm working with here. Since I don't have a lot of step outs, right? I don't have any step outs. And all I'm going to do is connect them with lines in the center. You think that's close, guys?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm asking because I've never done this particular fragment. So I've done some fragments, but now as you start to do, if you're doing this one, you can pick whatever one you want, by the way. But if you're doing this one, you're going to immediately start to see meta patterns, right? Because the center of my circle has now totally changed because the center is all linked in. So I'm going to do that, that, and that. The part about fragments that I really have been enjoying, and I've only just started this journey, so please be patient with me. But the thing I've enjoyed as I've started using them more is to watch how the full piece changes.
Fun.
It changed all right. Doesn't look like yours.
Uh-oh.
I'll have to practice.
All I did was I inked in the corners of my triangle,
Uh-huh.
found the dot, eyeballed the center of the triangle, and then connected a line to each of the inked in corners. But look what I've got, guys. This fragment put next to each other has now created that shape.
That's fun.
Wow.
So what I recommend if you really get into this is that you get yourself your sketchbook or your scrap paper or your whatever and just draw some tangles. I keep saying tangles because I'm not used to saying fragments. Draw some fragments next to each other and you can begin to see what happens. Now today, because we're just doing this for the first time, I'm not rotating or mirroring. I'm just using the tangles straight up next to each other.
Bless you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay.
Everybody with me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, the next section, sorry, I got to get stuff out of my way, is a square. Now, it's a whoppy square. You know, it's not beautifully shaped, but a square it is nonetheless. 4 sides, curvy edge. So it's a, you know, it's not a regular old square, but a square it is. So I'm going to my square fragments. So what do you think? You want to pick? Tell me what you guys think. Oh, there it is. See, here's poke leaf.
Oh, good. I like that. That's kind of fun.
She's going to make me do poke leaf in these squares, huh? Can do. My square's kind of big for a poke leaf, and it's not because it's a asymmetrical shape.
So it needs something else.
I'd rather do something that is line-based or either, what am I trying to say? Maybe B7 or, let me look. Oh, look, here's poke root. I knew I had those. I don't want to do a lot of lines though, because that'll take a while. How about if we were to try like this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What do you think? Too open? Needs more drama?
No, because the
No.
other one is dramatic and not open. So
Maybe we'll try that. What do you think?
I like that.
Again, I'm trying to stay relatively straightforward so that we can get one through most of this. Okay, so I'm going to start with my orb in the center because I kind of don't want the orb to go everywhere all over. So I'm going to pay attention to some consistency square to square. Follow me?
Mm-hmm.
This particular orb is inked in, but it has an open spot in the center. So I start by creating the open spot first, because invariably you will forget
And ink over it.
and ink over it. I've done that so many times. Now that's not a tragedy, because that is the beauty of Jelly Roll white pens.
yep.
the other beauty of doing it this way is I can correct the shape of my orb if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Okay. Now, the secret to this particular fragment, I think, I have played with this one before, is these are not just straight lines, right? These are curves.
That's right.
So you want to do take off and land kind of thing. So I want to start all the way kind of over here on my orb, and I want to take off and curve around. So it helps me to make that curve if I start the curve on the orb itself. So I start it and then I curve around. And I start it and I curve around. And there, you see, it's going to be just a little different because the shape of my square is different. So my curvy lines to the inside corners are going to be shorter and less curvy than my curvy lines to the outside corners. Any of that makes any sense at all? Where are you going, Peggy? Pay attention. Whoops. Oh, one is a little rocky. Now you can just imagine as you look at this that if we were to add color to this design, there would be all kinds of things I could do. But you see, again, you start to get that meta pattern.
Yes.
I think it's kind of fascinating, actually.
Absolutely.
Very soothing.
The repetitive nature is nice.
Peg, I'm sorry, I have to leave for PT.
Okay, hon. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, now I know some of you may not be ready to do the next one yet, but what we are going to do is we're going to divide this into two. So I'm kind of going to eyeball the center. And I'm going to divide that into 2 squares. What's the
So
matter?
They do have all together 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Should be 12.
12. Okay.
We had 6 to start with. 6, we made 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then these big ones at the top that are real rectangular-ish, that are kind of big rectangles, I'm going to divide in half and turn those into squares. And now I'm going to lie. I lied to you when I said I lied when I said I wasn't going to mirror, because I lied. I'm going to. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play with this F2 that we were playing with here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do this. So I'm going to mirror the 2 that I put next to each other. So I'm going to do F2, which is this fragment here. I'm going to do the same thing here, but I'm going to rotate it and I'm going to mirror the one next to it. So it's going to look like this, since that's what we've been looking at anyway. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to make a curved line, corner to corner, and then I'm going to aura that line. Oops, that's a little far away. That's better. And again, you decide how many auras. If you look, it can be far, close, whatever speaks to you. Then I'm going to make this triangle here. Whoops, off the screen, Peggy. Here. So I'm going to come down and over. And I'm going to ink it in. In fact, okay, you kind of see?
Mm-hmm.
So now this one, I'm going to flip it, but I'm going to turn it so that it's mirroring that one. In other words, if you held this up to a mirror, this is what you'd get, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all I do then is I go this way. I've still got the 8. That's a problem, which means I'm going to have to do the 8 here because otherwise it looks weird. There, that's better. And then I aura. Sorry, I was talking to myself. And I'm going to create that triangle. Ah, see? Did it wrong, Peggy. Did it wrong. I need. Ah, see, I lose track, lose where I am. But I have a brilliant Posca ink paint pen. So we're going to cheat. So instead, what I want to do is come straight down and go over.
Yes.
So I will finish him when my paint pen dries. See, it's easy to screw up, guys. So now I'm going to do another pair here like I did there. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe if I do it this way, it'll keep me. See, spatial relations, I'm telling you. Hmm. Yeah, that was easier for me to do.
Mm.
That was easier for me to keep track of what was coming out of what. That's kind of cool. Looks like drapes in a
Yeah.
sliding door. See, now it would be real easy for me to screw up and go this way with my
I
line
just did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because this one is that way. So I could easily just keep going like that and just not even think about it. And that would be fine. If I were doing that all along, that is not a problem. It would just be different than what I've been doing these. Now I have choices here. I could do these four over here this way and do these two something totally different. See, the beauty of fragments, I think, is that you can design anything the heck you want. Whatever makes you happy. But I think I'm going to stay with my pattern here. So I know that this one, do I have my 8? Yep. It's going to go this way. Oops, Peggy. You know better. And that this one is going to go that way. one of the things that I think fragments are fun for is when you do mandalas, the ones that we did that had all and the one that Mike drew using his grid thing, the Genevieve template thing, is that you can then, once you have those shapes the way you want them, you can then put any fragment in there that you want. And so everything opens up. You aren't limited to just your ability to fit an entire tangle in there. I just fixed this and then I stuck my finger in it. This is OCD. Just thought I would confess. Interesting. But you can also see that if you picked certain of these fragments, you would get really different results in
Yes.
terms of how your meta pattern would end up. And what I think is
Absolutely.
fascinating is I never know for sure. When I start with one of these, I can't tell you because I can't visualize spatially what it's going to look like when I put them together until I actually do it. That was some of my best line work. That was better than these. See, that's the other thing that happens, I think, when you do these is the repetition starts to impact, you start to improve in a number of different Zentangle techniques because you're just repeating them.
I just totally messed up, so I'll have to either make that the bottom or the top of my design.
The other thing is, remember that there is always raspberries. And raspberries is this.
Ah, yes.
Love that.
When
And you
all
can-
else fails.
When all else fails and you can't white it out, you hate it, it's not what you want, you just raspberry it. You just go and you just raspberry it. Now I tried to do this one. I threw away the tile that I used this one on because I could not keep the line. I couldn't keep my directions straight at all, putting those next to each other. But just saying. But the one I want to try in the future is I want to see what happens if you do this Essie thing.
Whoa.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
my.
Wouldn't that be interesting next?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, just
That could
saying.
be little brains.
Yeah, I'd have to work hard, but yeah, you notice I didn't teach that one. I think my 3 may be dying here. It definitely isn't juicy.
Hmm.
Actually, that's kind of interesting. I could not have envisioned this. I didn't see it. It's like, have you ever watched those HGTV shows, where they can
Yeah.
visualize the beautiful house that's a wreck when they walk in, but they somehow can visualize what it's going to look like when they're done?
Mm-hmm.
I can never visualize it. I always have to see it when it's done. So now you can get the book, but you can also just go to the websites that I put on the resource page and in the email, and you can look up the fragments online if you don't have the book. I'm getting into this. Do any of you remember that I taught Cadent in this class?
Yes.
And
Yes.
remember I showed you the website for Crazy Cadent?
Yes.
If you look at Crazy Cadent, I'll show it before we leave, but if you look at Crazy Cadent, it is a reticula to beat the band, because you have the opportunity to put anything in those squares. Let me show just 1 second. Cadent is one of my favorite tangles because it's pretty straightforward. Now let's see if Peggy can remember it. That's the question, because we've been doing Huggins and it's not the same.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's
Crazy
like a
cadence.
stroke. It's like
That's regular old cadence, right? Ah, see, I'm pushing my plain old cadent. All right. So if you do crazy cadent,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yes.
and it's just S curves connecting your, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just look at it. These are reticula, right?
Yeah.
So I can easily just do any
So pretty.
fragment in here that I would think about doing. Like, oops. Which is
Mm-hmm.
L4, right?
Yeah.
So there are many tangles that really do create reticula. All right, I'm gonna, I know everybody's not done, but I also know we're almost out of time. So I'm gonna stop. Here's mine. Now, the big problem with this is we ran out of time to shade, but be clear, you are going to use if you're doing black and white, you're gonna come on the outside of each circle because that's how you're gonna get this effect, right? See how the light has changed?
Yes.
I can't believe the sun going down or moving, the earth moving. The sun doesn't move, Peggy, the earth does. Okay. But basically what I'm doing is when you do this, you start with just circular motions right where you put the graphite down because you're trying to push the graphite into the paper. And then after you've done that, then you pull it out just a little bit so that it's blended.
Mm-hmm.
And you see how it changes, feels like this is lifting up. And you're going to do that at each of these inner circles. And then you decide if you also want to do that in the outer circle, which is certainly what some people do. Like they add just a little bit of graphite on the outside, which is hard to see in the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of get my drift. And that is the most important shading on this particular design because you're trying to lift up, give a dimensional aspect to your circles. And then you do have shading on the fragment itself, and we use the regular rule, which is where all the lines come together, right? So you would very naturally shade there.
We can't see it now. I can't.
Let me show you. I'll do it darker.
No, I mean, I'm just, I can't see what you're doing at all. Just your face.
Okay, let me try to share again, Mimi.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Well, yeah, now it does. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
No, that's okay. So basically, I'm going to shade the fragment itself where the lines come together. Okay, and then I'm going to shade, I haven't finished it, but I'm going to go around each of those inner circles to lift them up with this kind of effect.
Yes.
I'm not sure how I'd shade this one, to be honest. Anyway, Okay, I'm gonna stop. I know not everybody's done and all of that, but does anybody want to share how far they've gotten?
I will, because I made a mistake and I corrected it.
I like that, Margaret.
It's up at the top. I started going the wrong way, so I made it its own design.
I
There
think
you
that's
go.
great. No,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
perfect.
Yep.
So that's what I did.
That's excellent. Maria, that's why Maria, every time you see her do anything on a video or in person, she will tell you you can always figure out how to quote unquote fix it because there are no mistakes. And she will figure out some way. All right, Susan, here I come. Susan Michelson, here we go. Oh,
Oh,
that's lovely.
Oh,
Lovely.
yeah.
I took my
Yeah.
circles out,
You did, and I like that.
I like
and
that.
so I'm
Very
shading a
much.
little differently. I just started shading up at the top, but
That is wonderful, though.
It's
What a
lovely.
great idea.
Beautiful.
That is awesome.
a lot more openness.
Yes, what I would do, Susan, is I would shade around that tangle,
Yeah.
the middle tangle at the top,
Mm-hmm.
because then it looks like your door, if you think of it as a door, is kind
Yeah.
of recessed. That would be awesome. That is lovely. I love it.
Thank you.
Great idea. See, there's always some way you can change it. All right, Anne, you want to show?
Yeah.
Good.
So I made a mistake,
Oh,
but I haven't corrected it. Can you spot it?
yeah.
I
Great.
love that.
Yes.
No.
No.
I went the wrong, oh, there it is, right there. I went the wrong way.
Oh,
Only because you
oh.
pointed it out.
Yeah, only because you pointed it out.
So if I
never-
just left it that way, it
Yep.
wouldn't
Right.
pop
I,
out.
I think that's fine. I wouldn't have even noticed.
It was fun.
It is, isn't it? Mimi, you want to show?
Sure.
Sure, maybe.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
But I didn't get those all even. But anyway, like you said.
Oh, but it's fine.
They don't have to be. They don't have to be.
I kind of like it off. I think it's more fun
Yes.
if it's
Yeah.
not symmetrical, but that's me. Mimi's. Mike and Myra.
sure. Go ahead,
I'm-
Myra.
I'm still working on mine,
Oh
but I
my God, it's
enjoyed it.
Like that.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
I made a mistake on mine. I forget where it is now, but
Well, see, there you go.
I don't even see it.
If you can't see it, it's not a mistake.
I've been working with the book that we have.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes I just sit down and do fragments.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
that's nice.
Yeah.
I just do
Oh, that
fragments.
is
fun.
awesome.
All fun. I like fragments. There's another one.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh, that's a great.
But see,
Really
Mike, how
good.
cool it is if you use the same one next to each other.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't done that technique, and I'm gonna do that because all of them are. I keep using the different ones, but I
Yes.
never thought of putting two of them back to back as a bookend.
Yeah.
That makes it look better.
It looks different for sure. I like the
Mhm.
random all over the place also. And they
Yeah.
talk about alternating fragments as a different effect, but it would also be interesting to see what it would look like if you put two together. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. 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 Mary.
Okay.
Oh, let's see, Mary.
In front of your face, baby. In front of
There
your
we
face.
go.
There
Oh,
you go.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
Oh,
Yay.
nice.
That's
That was fun. Need some more shading.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
We kind of ran out of time as usual, right? Marie,
Yeah.
do you want to show?
No, thanks.
Marie,
Aw.
we have to
Okay,
get you going. Mary, Veronica.
Yep.
Oh,
Awesome.
yes.
Nice.
Awesome.
Good.
Look at that line work. See how much
Yeah.
better that is?
Beautiful.
Your line work, seriously, for a newbie, well, can't call you a newbie anymore.
No, You were talking about it the last time we did that, but it's a lot better. It's awesome.
I've been practicing, so
I can tell.
thank you.
Gwen. Gwen, honey, you're muted, baby. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
When? What happened?
Here,
does she
I'll
have
do
to
an
leave?
ask here. Just click where it says
Well,
unmute.
Susan had to leave.
Kessler had to leave.
There
Okay.
you got it. Perfect.
All right, it's in my notebook, actually.
That's good.
That's fine.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I did a little shading, but I
Love that.
had trouble getting this to be right. I thought it was supposed to be triangles, and but it was
No,
fun.
it's
Good.
fine. It's just the issue is how much ink you put in your corners.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And I kind of like it like that myself.
Okay,
Looks good.
Very nice.
it was fun. Now I'll do it on a Zendala.
Tile, yeah. Linda Connolly, you want to show us?
Yes, but I will say I did not follow your directions.
You
that's
don't
a-
need
oh,
to.
Look at that. I love it.
Oh,
Very nice.
Like
Oh, I like
that.
that.
Very
yeah.
nice.
I got messed up and so I just went out on my own, kind of like my granddaughters do. You know, they don't, if they're drawing, they do whatever they want. And
That's
so-
right.
you
And that
go.
is totally okay with me.
Peggy, one thing that I wanted to mention when I'm trying to do my line work better, I find it more helpful to push the pen rather than pull.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Everybody has a different preference. It's very interesting. Some people's line work is much more steady when they're pulling the pen toward them, and
Mhm.
some people's line work is much more steady, much steadier when they're pushing the pen away from them.
Right.
And you just practice, and you'll very soon get a sense of which is best for you.
Right.
It's very interesting. The other thing is you're better off when your pen is underneath what you're auraing,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so you can
Yes.
see it. Those are the two things
Yeah.
that I would. Janet, are you still with us?
I am. I am.
Oh, okay. We can't see you, baby. So you got to turn on your camera.
Oh, okie doke. Let's see.
Under video.
There.
There we got her. Okay.
There.
Now I am spotlighting you.
Ooh.
Oh,
I'm-
pretty.
Yay.
Oh,
Like
pretty.
that.
That's
Good
awesome.
Very
one.
nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
I love that.
Neat.
Very neat.
That was fun. I will do that again.
Yeah, what I
Yeah.
hope you'll all do is play around with different reticula, make
Mhm.
grids, use square tiles, use round tile. It doesn't matter, whichever. I mean, we did this on a square tile,
Yes.
Mhm.
so it doesn't matter. You can do it on whichever. And then just play with some fragments and see what speaks to you.
I ordered the fragment, the 2 books from Amazon.
Good for you.
Yeah, I want to try those.
I think they can be helpful. They can also give you ideas.
Yeah, I need help after today.
Oh, you do not. That's not true. You're fine.
I
The
finally
important.
finished last week's work, if you want to see.
Oh, we do, because I have a couple to show
I
you
didn't
if you
show
have
last
time.
week.
See.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
Wow.
pretty.
Beautiful.
Very
Very-
nice.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Can I show this week?
Oh,
Yes.
how naughty! I'm sorry.
Now,
Yes.
You should have yelled at me.
oh, wow. Wait a minute. Hold that
Oh,
up.
up
You're at
again.
the beach. You're not on Zentangle.
It went, now you've taken it.
There.
Very,
Oh,
very
no.
nice.
Great.
Lovely.
Awesome.
Very nice. Yep.
Good
Just put it
shading.
some-
See how-
makes all the
See how her
Oh,
shading
wow.
pops out? How Nani, hold the other one up a minute first.
Oh, the jewel.
See how her
Yes.
shading pops out those rings?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
Very
not
nice.
done, but
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, now show us that is awesome.
Wow.
It is. That's beautiful.
See,
Spectacular.
Perfect.
Okay,
are we
so-
gonna color those? Is
Okay,
that
yes,
gonna
ma'am.
do 'em?
So let me
Okay.
just show you one thing and then we'll talk about what we're gonna do, okay?
Okay.
So I wanted to show you,
Wow.
I decided to finish this.
Oh, Peggy.
Pretty.
That's
goodness.
beautiful. I love that.
I love this tangle I found, and that's why I wanted to show it to you. I thought it was so cute,
It
Oh.
is.
Okay.
It'll fit lots of places.
and it fit just
Yes.
in there, and I
Uh-huh.
just couldn't help myself, so I did that. And then
That
I
is-
kept trying that Tracy Wilkinson, Tracy Ann, who did the little twirly ribbon thing.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure about those, but I did them anyway. So there you go.
Looks good.
So now I'm ready to color whenever the color expert can get her technology straight.
Well, Service Electric is coming this afternoon.
Okay.
Good.
We will hope for the best.
Yes. But
Peggy or Hanani, whomever, I will not be here for the next 2 classes. We're going to Canada on the Royal Canadian train trip.
Oh,
yes.
Awesome. That is
Read in the
lovely.
paper this morning that the fires have started.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely massive fires.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
what
hope
kind of
not
trip we're
where
gonna
you're
have.
going, though, maybe. Or are you gonna be safe?
I hope we'll be safe. It starts in Vancouver and ends in Calgary, and Calgary is not in the fire yet. So let's hope for 10 days it holds back.
We
Right.
will hope that they put it out, that they
Yes.
get it under
Yeah.
control.
Yes.
Safe travels.
There
Yes,
you
safe
go.
travels.
Thank you.
All right.
And, I'll
Go
watch
ahead.
the videos.
Okay. We will make sure, Janet will make sure we actually record it.
Janet, we have 2 letters for you. Are you still taking them over?
yes.
Okay. Chuck will bring it over.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, y'all.
Okay.
Everybody
you.
good? Everybody
Have a
okay?
good one.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Oh, it did. Oh, yeah. I was really.
Okay.
I don't know who MJ is, but they keep trying to connect to audio. I'm not at all sure who that is.
Ditto.
Well, I'm going to remove them.
Peggy,
Remove.
your classes are